Welcome to Rising Up by Faceless Labs. My name is Evan Mann, and this is the official podcast of the financial revolution. We're going to take you behind the scenes and give you an inside look at the wild and wonderful world of cryptocurrency. Each episode, you'll get to know our team, our friends in the space, and the movers and shakers of Web3. It's going to make you feel like you're right here with us, building the future. I'm talking engaging, entertaining, educational conversations for people at all levels of experience, not just techies and investors. This show is named for the mission of Faceless Labs and the rallying cry of the faceless many. Everything we do is about helping everyday people leverage the power of blockchain technology to rise up and rewrite their financial future. We're building a movement, and you're invited on the official podcast of the financial revolution. Everybody, welcome to Rising Up. It is so good to see you all. So good to be here with our friends online. My name is Evan. We're here with Michael. We're here with Nikita. We're here with Sam. You'll hear from all of them in a second. But as you get acquainted, just let us know if you're here in the chat with us. We would love to hear from you. We're going to have a conversation about the future of what we're doing in the space. Some really exciting people to talk to with big visions, I think. Michael, Nikita, Sam, thank you guys for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun for us to get to, just share conversations with cool people who do cool stuff. I wonder, Michael, for folks listening who don't know the Rising Up podcast, we just like to let you know who our guests are. So, Michael, would you like our guest to go first, since we're hosting, kind of?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the base intro, if people are watching from our side, they probably know Evan and myself. And Nikita and Sam here are from NFTify, which is a fantastic company that myself through Monark has gotten the chance to work with, and through Faceless Labs, we're looking at working together again as well. And Nikita, if you want to do an intro for yourself, go ahead and we can just dive right in.
Okay. Thank you, Evan and Michael, for having me here again. My name is Nikita Ngan Nguyen. My last name, as you know, Nguyen, coming from Vietnam. Only half of our population is Nguyen, the Nguyen dynasty. So I'm from Vietnam. I've been in IT, information technology industry since I graduated from college. So the past 13 years, doing business in IT with customers, companies from all around the world, mainly in Japan and US, and now especially with this crypto space and with the platform that we have been building since last April. Now I work with people from everywhere, every corner of the world, every industry. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you. I'm excited by that, to get to have people who come from totally different places than I do in their life and their experience is one of my favorite things. I feel like I've met more people from different ages, different countries, different, there's just so much diversity here. It makes me very excited. Sam, do you want to take a second and share who you are? Tell us a little about yourself too.
Sam, are you
Sam
typing?
might not be able to talk. Sorry, Sam. I kind of put you on the spot.
That's
I just
okay.
didn't want Sam to feel left out because his video was off, and I know he's here with us, and I wanted to have him get a chance to introduce himself.
Yeah. Sam, do you hear us? I don't think so. All right.
No, it's okay. He's with us. Sam, when you come back, don't fret. We're live. We're hanging out. We're going to talk.
Yeah.
And here, Michael, while we're on it, have you made contact? Are we live on Twitter?
We are live on Twitter. We can tweet this out. I just tweeted it out from the Monarch side. I'll get it from the TFM side here for just a second.
Fantastic.
Let me check my Twitter too. I don't post on Twitter at all.
Oh, really? I just started posting on
No.
Twitter because of Web3, you know, just to like be around blockchain people and connect. And I'm on it all the time
Curious.
now.
I don't know why it doesn't. Yeah. Okay. It doesn't work for me when I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi. That's my problem with Twitter.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Yeah. So I can't do it when I'm outside of my house.
Yeah.
So I'm not using it. Yeah.
Well, while we're doing that, I wonder, Nikita, would you tell me, that's a lovely painting behind you. This is your house?
Yes.
Or
This
that's your
is my
painting, I mean to say, like,
Yeah.
it's a pretty painting.
It's
It's a pretty backdrop.
thank you. Yeah, it's cactus on a pink and sobe sunset background, I guess.
I love that. I love that.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
live on the desert.
Yeah. Okay. I've been traveling a lot. I'm, you know, like from a remote location, quick setup. So none of this stuff is mine. But I always love, you know, what people put around them.
Thank you.
You
Yes.
know, I watched your talk at in New York City,
Oh, that was a long
NFTNYC.
time ago.
But
That was my first talk.
was it really?
Yeah.
That was a big talk for it to be your first talk.
Really? Thank
I mean,
you.
I thought it was great, but it was a big talk. Like, were you nervous?
I was nervous. I don't ever rewatch my talk or re-listen to what I say, because I don't like myself. Well, I love myself, but I
Of
don't
course.
know, just move on, be better.
Yeah.
I can completely understand that. Evan and I come a little bit from a like a performance background, from
Okay.
varying elements, and something that you're almost like forced to do in that is
Right.
to like you force yourself to watch yourself over and over again,
Right.
and it's painful. It's
Yeah.
it's probably the most
The
painful
only
part of ever trying to do
the
that.
only the only thing that I practice that at is dancing. So I dance salsa as a hobby. 2012,
Really?
I represented Japan because back then I was living in Japan to compete in the World Latin Dance Cup in Miami. So just for those few months, I had to rewatch over and over again what I do every day. But that's the
Yeah.
only thing that
Yeah.
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 I love
Ye-
salsa dancing. I am not trained at it. And my girlfriend loves to tango. And so I would like to spend more time doing dancing because I love to dance.
Yeah, everybody should dance.
We
It's
should have a
beautiful.
crypto, like we need to have a dance party,
I
a
would love
salsa
that.
dance party.
We're
I
gonna
think that would
do
be great.
a crypto salsa dance party in the metaverse from which
Uh,
you can then mint a free
uh,
NFT to prove
okay,
that you're there. We're gonna wrap all
okay,
these things together.
okay. Sounds
Yeah.
great. I can bring some friends who can know how to throw the best salsa parties on earth. Yeah, wherever, Europe or here in the US.
And why not both at the same time?
Yeah, why not? We
We'll
can
get
do.
someone to host it, you know?
Okay.
It can be a worldwide salsa crypto NFT platform. We can make it a big party.
Like salsa is really one of the few activities that, because when you do, you don't carry phones or anything with you, right? The only thing that you pay attention to is the music and your partner. So you can really
Yeah.
lose yourself. You can start to lose yourself and forget about what crypto is, what your schedule looks like today or tomorrow or this week, and just focus on the music and groove. Forget yourself too.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
We need
So I love it.
more experiences to do that.
Yeah.
It's
I hate to
necessary.
break you out of your reverie, but I feel like it would be good to talk about some of the potential for what we do to change that and make that world possible. I would love to
Yeah,
hear more about the background of what you do for people who don't know. And then Michael, I'd like to hear you do it too from Monark. We haven't
sure.
touched on Monark yet, but I think that would be a good way to situate this conversation so that we can give people just the roadmap of how they might be thinking about the stuff we're going to talk through with them. If you'd go first, Nikita, is it, and I don't know, I'm embarrassed to say, I've heard people say many things, but I don't remember how you say, if it's NFTify or if you say NFTify.
NFTify.
NFTify. See, that's what I thought,
Yes.
but I didn't want to be a fool. So
Yes,
tell
that is
us.
right. Yes. So, well, I would like to go back a little bit before NFTify. As I
Please.
mentioned, I've been in IT industry forever, my whole career, and I was working for the largest IT company of Vietnam, FPT Software, in their Tokyo office in the sales and business development departments, taking care of manufacturers and financial institutions, customers. So I was there with them, and 2016 I moved to the US to help them develop the US based Japanese companies because I speak Japanese and I lived in Japan for a long time. Um, but then 2017, one of my Japanese friends told me about how he's making a lot of money investing in Bitcoin and Phantom and XRP and NAM and all those coins those days, a
Name.
few, yeah, NAM. And then I trusted what he said, or like I didn't know anything, so I just put half of my savings into crypto.
Yeah.
After a few months, I lost most of it, if not all of it.
Oof.
Yeah, the crypto exchange in Japan. What is the name of it? Coin something. They got hacked,
Oh
right?
no.
Yeah, they lost all the coins. And then I don't remember the price that I paid when I bought anymore, but then they paid me back for a fraction of that. And I'm like, okay, there's nothing that I can do about it. I'm out of it.
At least you got some money. There are people, the Mount Gox people, I don't know if they've just received their payments or if they're about to, but you
Yeah.
know,
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
yeah, yeah, true.
you
But
thought that
that
was an
was,
L, but here's a small, little
yeah. So
whatever.
that was my first interfere with crypto. And then a couple months after that, that same friend, well, he's been friend with me for 20 years or so. So even that experience was painful, but I still trust him and I still love him, so that's fine. He told me that, hey, Nikita, I'm doing an ICO project with the Myanmar government
Hmm.
to attract investment to the actual gold mining industry in Myanmar. They have a lot of gold mines,
Okay.
believe it or not. And then
I
I
believe it.
remember that, yeah, he used to go to Myanmar very often and, carry like drones with him to take videos and pictures of the mining activities. And he would send that to me and say, hey, we need to develop an ICO. We need to issue a token for this. Can you help me with that? And I have a friend who has a blockchain development company. He had around 80 engineers in Hanoi at that point, and he used to work at FPT with me. So, like, yeah, I think I can help you. So I reached out
Yeah.
to that friend, like, hey, there's this project. I don't know what I'm gonna do with FPT anymore, but can you help me? And he said yes, and that became my first NFT, crypto development project. And that
Yeah.
happened in 2017. And the money came really easy. My friend told me that, hey, I'm going to pay you 80K for this project. I didn't even give him an estimate. He's just, I'm going to give you 80K and I'm going to give you 40K upfront. And once you deliver it, I'm going to pay you the rest, 40K. I'm like, okay, fine. 40K should be enough.
Sounds good.
And so he paid me 40K and the rest he never paid, but that's fine. He paid
Did
me
you
70.
dirty?
Yeah. Um, But then I felt like, okay, well, things move really fast in this space, at FPT where I used to work for, to sometimes it takes a year, if not two, to be able to turn
Hmm.
one lead into an account and have the
Sure.
first project.
Yeah.
So I like, okay, well, money moves really fast here. Maybe, I can make really quick money in this space. So I started to get more referrals. I started to talk to more people like, hey, so I heard that you have your own crypto project. We have engineers, we can help you. And from there, 2017 to nowadays, we have a team of blockchain consulting and development company of over 150 people in Hanoi. And Sam is sitting in that office. And
Wow.
we've been doing everything in the crypto space, everything literally from developing layer one blockchain, either private or public, develop, tons, 200 dApps on all the blockchains in the world, including even
Wow.
private layer, everything. And then we have a few white label solutions in the NFT marketplace space, or minting gateway or e-wallet or even cryptocurrency exchange, decentralized and centralized, and we still operating and maintaining a couple of them. So 2019, late 2019, we got a lot of requests from all over the world like, hey, Nikita, can you build something like OpenSea? And like, okay, what is OpenSea? And so I have my BA team to do the research to see what OpenSea is, what kind of features they have, and how much time it takes to build something like that, and how much it would cost. So I'll come back to these startups and say, hey, yes, we can. And then I think that over a course of only a few months, we deliver five, six of them, and we started to see like, hey, like there's really a demand in this space that people need to build their own branded NFT marketplace. That's something going on here. And it's great business because we full house, and we're growing and money coming easy. But if we can think of a solution to shorten the time for projects to launch their NFT marketplace, and also cut down the cost, instead of investing 100K 200K to develop something like that, it can be much lower if we have um, ready to go platform. And so that was the reason behind Niftify. And we started to build Niftify April. So we incubated that idea in late 2019, and then started the project in April 2020. I'm sorry, late 2020, and then started to build it April 2021.
Okay,
I love
first of all, it's an epic journey.
it.
What
It
an
is.
epic journey that you've taken to get to this spot. I love hearing how people get started. I have a very similar story in terms of, you know, investing more than I was ready to lose, and, learning lots of lessons, and what a great way to build up experience and solve an incredible problem. I really would like to know now, from like a customer perspective, what is the problem you solve, and what is the journey like for me, the customer who has this problem, to become, you know much more sufficient than I was? Can you walk me through kind of those steps and how you work with people?
Yes. So last year, I think it was a lot of individual artists, right? Because of the people boom, people think that, hey, if some people, if they receive my arts correctly, I can make millions. So we had a lot of individual artists, and blockchain is a really still a new and emerging um, technology that's hard to understand for a lot of people, including us, right? Like the first time I remember, like to download the MetaMask and use it, and then import our own token, right? And then swap it from one to another, or to trade it. It was just really, really complicated. So the journey, we pay really close attention to design the platform to make it as easy as possible for our users from the very first step. So now people can go on our platform, register an account with their email address, and then, instead of having to go find a reliable blockchain engineering team, they can just kind of like drag and drop, kind of like the Wix of Web3, right? So they can build their own branded NFT marketplace. So everything is really easy to use. We have users that create their own NFT marketplace, mint, and sell almost a million every month for the past 6 months without us knowing. The first time we found out about them was when we saw like a huge pike in our dashboard, and we saw like someone selling a million a month. I'm like, who is that? Yeah, like they never talk to us. Who is that?
Wow.
So we
Just use the
like,
platform. Yeah.
yes, we had to find them, and they were like a secret group, not like shady or anything. I don't know about
No,
that,
but just like
but
secret.
Sure.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they don't even publish. So you have the option of either publish your NFT marketplace, or you can keep it secret within your community. So you can use a password, right? So
Yeah.
whoever has the password can enter your marketplace. So they kind of like that. So we didn't know, like, even like looking into their website, we didn't know who they were. So we had to go to their, finally we found their Facebook group, and then, like checked every single person to see who might be the owner here and reach out to them. And finally they got back to us like, oh, we didn't expect you to reach out, but okay, we're happy to jump on a call to talk.
Sure.
But talking about user experience, we try to make it as easy as possible. We try to integrate with third-party solutions, right? Including, for example, like fiat payment or gas list transactions and all that, so that it is as easy as possible for laymen, for Web2 people, for everyone to join, to come and experiment with their NFT and Web3 ideas. And that is our first mission when we set out for this project, to lower the barrier for anyone to enter Web3.
Yeah. And as a case study, I could say, the way that I found out about Niftify is exactly what Nikita was building and hoping for. I would say, I have an agency background, right? While I can code, the idea of building, NFT marketplace from the ground up, myself or with a giant team, or starting from zero and going to 100%, and what I was trying to make a very short timeline was just not going to happen. And so, I do the work that any good agency owner does and Google things. And Niftify's done the work of being out there, having the right message, having the right model, having the right information to make that easy for people who, even if you are technically savvy enough to start like building things, I think that the question becomes, why do you need to, when there's a robust tool set that you can help, that you can tweak, that you can add on to get the things done? Because at the end of the day, Monarch, from being a metaverse marketplace, our goal is to attract and help creators. And so the idea of having to have such a dev heavy department of the company to just be able to do that is not scalable at all. But a great partnership through someone like Niftify, and other partnerships that we can tie in, makes a company, especially a Web3 style company like ours, doable. Because it allows us to focus on finding new creators, helping them create better things, knowing that the platform is solid and secure, and that we've got great partners helping us with it.
So I'd like to actually back up before we go forward. I really should have asked the question, why marketplaces in the start, before I asked how. And I'd like to ask you both that, because I think you both have talked about that. Marketplaces is a really, a big need and a powerful solution. So first though, Michael, can you talk more about Monark and your journey to like this problem for people who might not know who you are or who just want to hear it again?
Yeah, sure. I'm Michael. Hi. Um, I I really started getting interested in the metaverse, let's say, in maybe a year and a half ago. And part of me doing that was to build things in the metaverse for the Faceless Many, the project that Evan and I met doing. And a big part of that was the fact that I was looking for good resources to use to not just have to build everything from scratch, because I try to do things as efficient as possible, but to be able to kit bash, to be able to build things from pieces and parts and make something unique from it. And I found that being able to do that was very difficult, number one, and the assets that were out there were not great, number two. And then when I could find them, whether it was on OpenSea or Sketchfab or wherever, it was near impossible to find what you wanted because of how things were organized. And so there was a very obvious problem to me there, and I wanted to figure out the best way to solve that. And so I waffled back and forth between doing just a traditional marketplace or an NFT marketplace or that kind of thing. And in the end, I found that the biggest opportunity, because of the most pain points, was in the NFT blockchain space, right? Like there's a lot of things that are awesome about having assets on the blockchain. Like Nikita said, it is a new and emerging technology. But there are also a lot of painful things about it. And to me, I think if we're going to have environments, assets, objects that live in the metaverse, they will more than likely be on the blockchain. Or at least for the long term, because that's how we're going to be able to know that they're owned, and it will transact easily and things will move around. That's how you can import things in and out. But just trying to create something on the blockchain, number one, was not easy. Just trying to verify or create your ownership of that thing was not easy. If you try to do it on OpenSea, for multiple technical reasons that we can get into later, you don't necessarily have ownership of that collection, that contract. It's kind of held by OpenSea. And the discovery and the organization of all these things became very, very difficult. And so I said, okay, we've got at least three pain points here that I think are pretty big. And I think that there are a couple easy solutions to it that we can do if we can just find a marketplace experience that exists or that we can customize to help get the job done. Because once we've got that, it's just about people and eyeballs. And luckily I run a marketing agency, so people and eyeballs are my business.
Yeah, you get it.
And that's what we work in. Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. When you say that you talk about these pain points, and you both have illustrated for me, through your own kind of journeys, how like the obstacle that you became familiar with is this problem you're helping other people solve. And it does sound like the marketplace from different perspectives are, a solution. Can you talk more just about the need for that and about how you're, the why marketplaces? I think a lot of people may not, have much experience, or if they have experience, they don't feel that they have many options and might have trouble seeing what that option could look like.
Yeah, I think I can
Please.
answer that question. So in Web 2, right? It's like if you are an e-commerce business, you want to have your own website. You want to have your own store, right? So people can go to you to find out who you are and what you sell. So instead of course, a lot of people, they sell on eBay, they sell on Amazon. However, they will still want to have their own website so that they can do marketing, they have their own brand, and do a lot of other things with it, and not be completely dependent on some other platforms, right? So I think that concept applies to Web 3 too. If you sell on OpenSea, there are a lot of limitations, right? You don't own your own smart contracts. Your community won't be able to see or to trace your own collection. You won't be able to track every transaction of your own collection. It's the whole market collection, right? And there's other limitations too in terms of what blockchain you can use, or whether or not you can invite other collaborators to go and come and run it as a business with you instead of an individual. So, especially when you have a longer term business plan and you're serious about it and you want to do marketing, you want people to find you on Google, um, and run it as an actual business, then you want to have your own thing, and that should be the NFT marketplace in Web3.
So you
Yeah.
think really everybody is going to have their own marketplace, the way they have their own website or their own Facebook. It's going to be part of their business, part of their
Right,
brand.
right, yes.
I love that viewpoint, and I think it's semi reflected in your name too, right? The like Shopify of NFTs almost.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to mention that because
Sure, sure.
because when we first thought about the solution, it's actually the Shopify for the NFTs, right?
Oh, okay.
So that's why it is NFT and then IFY.
Sure.
IFY is short for Shopify, so Niftify. But we came up with the idea and we worked on that idea before Shopify even mentioned anything about Web3.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to give them that credit that we are the Shopify of the NFTs. So I don't mention that anymore.
We'll never say the S word again.
Yeah. But the idea of taking the concept of Web 2 ecom and realizing that some of what's popular and works well there is also going to translate to Web 3, I think is right on.
Yeah.
And even if that is, Evan and I have been talking lately about all of these brands coming out with digital asset collections, right? Nike just launched, what is it, dot swoosh.
Swoosh. Yep.
And there are all of these brands that are coming out that are realizing what you've realized and taking that step and jumping into the digital asset area because they know that like this technology is interesting, this technology is cool, and it can house or represent anything, right?
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be a JPEG. It doesn't have to be the thing that it's been for the last year. It can house lots
Oh
of
yeah.
different things.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And we're going to see more and more of that. And I think we may see the word NFT start to take a back seat to the fact that we're just running great, cool marketplaces with new technologies now.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah. I completely agree. One of the most exciting things that I've been able to experience doing Niftify is that I've been able to see so many different use cases. Like I said, from all industries, and one of the most interesting use cases these days comes from Europe, from Germany. I'm working with Germany a lot these days. They make me stay up until like 2, 3 in the morning
Oh,
because of the time difference. But you know that Germany, as well as countries in the North Europe, they are very big on ESG, sustainability, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, whatever it is, it has to be sustainability. So I was speaking with a startup group in Cologne, and they gathered like executives from some of the largest corporations in the world, like Mercedes-Benz, Bosch, right? All those guys. AWS was there, Meta was there, and what they interested in knowing is if how they can use this technology to increase the user engagement so that they can drive their community toward a mutual sustainability goal. How can they do
very
that?
interesting.
Yes,
Wow.
so we move way beyond the JPEG stage in the NFT space.
Yeah.
Now it's more than just, oh, okay, I'm gonna develop some NFT games. Of course, that's still a part of it, and I think it's still the major driver in the NFT space. But now we have really large corporations thinking of the actual utility for the NFTs so that they can, you know, engage more with their users or create new revenue stream or whatever it is. People are more creative than myself, so I'll leave that to them. I'll provide the tools.
Yeah, that is so cool. I heard a talk the other day from the chief blockchain officer at FedEx, and something that Fred Smith, their founder, said like 40 years ago was that tracking the package is just as important as the package.
Mm,
And now that's like their whole thing, their
yeah,
whole mantra. That's such an exciting use case. I love hearing those stories. So,
yeah.
and I'd like to flip it back on you maybe a little, Michael, too, and say like some of the use cases that you're seeing. Obviously, there are many, and you've got to build blocks to get there. What are some of the stepping stones, and then where are we going? And especially maybe in the metaverse, we've got some questions about like metaverse specifically, digital assets, digital collectibles.
Sure. I see Lisa and Neil asking some questions in there. That's great. Yeah, to me, I feel like a lot of the things that we're seeing right now, especially from even the last couple of weeks, last month, how crypto and things have been in the news, we're seeing like a pullback on the things that were considered like degen or the things that are in the bull run. And I think we're going to see brands take a more utilitarian approach to what we can create and what we can do inside the technology and the space. And to me, that's great. I love that because that means that we can focus on building things that are fun and useful, and have a little bit less fodder in the conversation while we're doing that. And so for us, as far as our marketplace is concerned, we're looking at trying to help take those stepping stones by, integrating as, credit card payments and making that as easy as possible. Integrating stuff like custodial wallets, or even giving people the choice to purchase an asset that is on chain or off chain, right? Because again, we're at this like Web 2.5 space right now. Where if you're trying to attract consumers, you want to be able to give them, like, attract all consumers, give them the choice. Are you in this world right now? Or are you in that world? Do you want to pay with crypto or fiat? Do you want this delivered to your wallet, or do you want this delivered to your email address? We can do all of those things because the metaverse platforms that we're integrating with haven't made up their minds yet either. Right. And so,
yeah, that's a tough part of it, right?
right. We have to be able to apply for all of those. But at the end of the day, we can create a immutable log of people that have purchased these things that everybody knows about. And that means that for the future, when those things become more solid, we can still integrate and deliver all those assets.
Michael, can I ask you to dig a little deeper? In the future, what do you think people are going to want to verify ownership of in the metaverse?
I mean, I'm going to want to verify everything, but that's just me. I think it will be more. I think there's a lot of conversation right now around IP and around how I can access things and how I don't access things, right? Like I run a Web2 agency and we buy stuff. We buy software, we buy templates. Sometimes we buy something and you got to download it because you don't know if it's going to be there later. I think we will be able to have a world where transactions occur and they're just there, where you purchase something from Starbucks the same way that you might purchase a chair for your new virtual home. And when you do that, it just arrives, whether it's the chair in your virtual home or the Starbucks that you just picked up at the restaurant or the coffee shop, that they're all going to be transparent from magic, right? Like they're all going to seem like they're the same thing.
Disney's investing in sensors on your clothes and like on passes they give you, so they can follow you through the park and give you digital collectibles as you experience it.
Sure, exactly. And kind of where I'm seeing this going and what I'm trying to prepare the marketplace for, to be honest, is right now when we talk about the metaverse, we're talking about these 3D virtual experiences that you can access on your phone or your computer or maybe in VR like Oculus. And it feels neat. right? You can have experiences and meet other people, and that's fun. That's a great way to just get into it. Um, but we are quickly going up against this technological escalation where AI is getting in the space, and chips are getting smarter and better, and it will soon become that we're not just going into these virtual spaces, that we're bringing those virtual spaces into our space, and that the line between the real and the virtual is going to get very, very blurry. And when you do that, one, you're going to be delivering and moving assets everywhere, and there's going to need to be a good way to do that. And two, you're going to want to fill it up with stuff, just like we fill up our rooms with bookcases and books, and we go to Target to do that. Those virtual spaces that have now blurred in between our physical and virtual ones, people want things for that as well. And so whenever I talk to artists that we're working with, I try to get them to think about that time, not just thinking about what can I release today that someone is going to use in spatial or Decentraland. Like, sure, we need to do that, but also think about how that's going to be used 5 years from now when spatial is in your living room, right?
Yeah.
When Decentraland is you meeting up with your buddies at the park, because you're also in this big virtual experience together. Like, what are you going to be holding? Who made
Yeah.
that? How are you
Neil
going to?
said, did you see what Neil said?
What's he say?
Request, I want to verify my reputation and identity in the metaverse. People, avatars in the metaverse will see it's actually Neil. And that would be something worth owning in the metaverse that you describe.
Yeah. Yeah. Neil, I know, is a big fan of the idea of account bound or soul bound tokens as well, from a NFT or token standpoint. And that's a way that you could do that fairly easily with technology that exists right now, to verify everything from, like, we know this is Neil, not fake Neil, to, we know this person has real credentials, not fake credentials.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Neil and the Blue Chip Alliance and the good old people right here in the chat. That was a good point. I think it makes me want to, an idea that I'm wrestling with right now. I think you might have heard me say this, Michael. Nikita, I've been thinking a lot lately about how most of the valuable stuff, most of the value in the world is not really tangible, and it's certainly non-fungible. And so just thinking about that, this future that Michael just described and the future that you're seeing as people bring these use cases into the world where they're bringing value, a form of value that is sort of tangible to these intangible things. Do you, you've given us a use case, but what do you make of that, and where do you think that's going?
Sorry, was that to me?
Oh no, I was asking Nikita. I'm sorry. I might have been unclear. I'm battling spotty Wi-Fi also, so it might be not the artist. I apologize. I just wanted to know where you see it going. People who have their own marketplaces and they've got their own NFTs, how are they, how should we be thinking about using them, and what are those intangible, what are the really valuable things that you think people will be protecting?
I think it can be so many different things. We have 8 billion people in the world right now, and we all have different things that we see valuable to us differently, right? To me, I don't have a lot of valuable things in my life. Everything is impermanent. We will disappear from this universe. What we leave behind is nothing. Even our legendary, that may stay if it is a big thing. If we can make something really impactful in this life, some few generations may still remember about us, about what we did after we pass. But after that, maybe not anymore. But to other people, even the closest things, like something that connects them to a memory, becomes so valuable to them. Like, a pen. For example, I got this pen from a friend and that friend is a so dear friend of mine. So whenever I see this pen, I see it's a very valuable thing, right? Or as Neil said, his identity, who he is really important in real life and in the metaverse. So he wants to protect that. So I see that, there can be endlessness, endless of things that people want to protect and verify in the future. And if you can provide a platform for people to protect what they want to protect, then you will sustain for some time, right? Nothing is forever again. For some time depends on what you can provide to other people and
Yeah.
how people value that.
I love that vision. I love that.
Lisa said goosebumps.
Goosebumps. Yeah.
Oh, thank
It
you,
is
Nick.
I mean,
Yeah. Evan, I know I've shared this with you before, at least my reaction to it. The my random note of like I'll probably be the first to get the brain interface,
yes.
or dreaming of the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that internally comes from this is going a far different place, but my grandfather had Alzheimer's, and I remember I just watched that entire experience happen
Yeah.
as I was a kid, and sort of the falling apart of memory and of person and that kind of thing. And it's motivated me a lot from a technology standpoint to think about what are the ways that what are the things that make up our experiences and our people and our family and things in our lives, and what are the ways that we can make that less impermanent. I don't think it's easy to replicate the human experience in that way, but there are ways that you can create other things that become impermanent that help move that along, right? Whether that's your memories on chain or experiences that you have that you can remember forever, and that other people after you can remember forever, because they're not just in a photo album that is going to age and go away. They're digital, they're on chain, they're immutable, they're there forever.
Can't lose them. Yep. I mean, you
Yeah.
could lose them, but still. I heard it said that you die twice. First, when your body ceases to function, and again, when nobody living remembers you. And I mean, it's so true. But now you have a way, really, truly, to preserve this memory that's not going to rust, that's not going to, fade away. I know you all get it, and I just that was a cool way to think about it.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little more about like the synergy between you obviously are looking at this problem from two very different angles, but I would love to hear more about, in your collaborations together, how you complement each other in terms of providing these kind of marketplace solutions for people, or what you might bring us next.
Sure. Yeah, I can start off.
Michael, would you go first?
Sure. So I love working with NFTify as is right now. I think it's a great experience, and what I loved initially was just how robust the tool set was to start with. Right. I know you guys have had a little bit of time to work through that, to build up those features, but you've done a very good job of thinking through what people may need, and how that's built and set up. The other thing that I think is fantastic, again, like Nikita said at the beginning, is that behind that is this very robust company that's had experience developing multiple things on multiple chains, doing all kinds of things up and down. And Nikita, I don't know if you want me to say that this is available, but they do fantastic custom work.
Thank you. Yeah.
So it's a great symbiotic relationship where someone can come and use the tools exactly as they are and be able to build a marketplace and just run with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's also a great scenario where someone like me, who's an entrepreneur, can say, this is awesome, and would be like, it's like 90% there. Can we tweak 10% from my specific use case? And they're open to have those relationships and those partnerships, which is difficult, right? Which is
Oh my gosh,
difficult.
and it's the best way to do business.
Yeah. So I mean, again, this is a very new space, and everybody is new, and we're just trying to get as many people on as possible, as long as they have a plan and as long as they believe in Web3, right? Because you can go out there and then people. Even the most polite people on earth, they will say, "Please leave me out." I have a negative feeling about all things Web3. So, um, but then it's new. We're trying to build something that as easy as possible and as functional as possible for people to use to serve their business, right? To build, to sell, and to grow. But we have been building it for only 18 months now. It can't be perfect. It's still work in progress. There's a lot of things. So what we have been doing is we keep a very close communication with our actual users to see, hey, which features do you love the most, or what feature you wish that we have, so that we can build that, and how you would use that, how that would serve your business to serve you better. And a lot of the features on us have been built because of that, coming from the actual request from our users. And that will still be the way going forward from here. Because for us to survive too in the Web3 business, we need people to sell, right? We're trying to help people to sell. We cannot charge people a monthly subscription now because a lot of them will go out of business and say goodbye to NFT and Web3 for good.
That's
Right?
bleak. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real though. So we try to keep everything on a quite tight rope now, especially in this bear market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why we continue to grow and build the platform so that it actually serves people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Absolutely.
really interesting place to be in the bear market, right? Like a lot of these ideas that got started maybe right at the end of the bull market, and then we're in this spot where I almost guarantee that the name of the game is survive, right? The
Yeah,
name of the game is runway,
yeah,
and those who find the way to maintain the longest runway and to stay positive and to continue to build in this ecosystem and in this weather
hmm,
um, are the ones that are primed to benefit from
yeah,
when consumers return and more of a flood.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it's just so much better when you're able to have that kind of close, like responsive relationship with people who are, like you said, all these different kinds of use cases. They're testing the tools, they're seeing what's needed.
Yeah.
And Lisa pointed it out here. It sounds like it's more like a community, not just users. I think when people scale well in Web3, they get to really experience an enhanced kind of community just because of the nature of our work. And because we're from so many places. And I really
Yeah,
think that's kind of a secret sauce.
yeah. So I think I'm a weird person, but
Me
I'm not.
too. It's okay.
I'm not from the US. I've been to the US for only over 6 years, and
Okay.
what I have learned lately is that this is truly the capital of capitalism of the world.
Oh yeah.
Everything moves around money, capital, and that becomes the center of thinking for most people here. And that's not how I grew up. I grew up in Vietnam, it was different. And then I moved to Japan, even though Japan is also like a very developed country, but that's also not how people were to me, right? So when I came here, I'm like, one of the first thing people ask me, like, do you want to retire early? How much do you need for you to retire? Like, oh, I never thought of that. Or like, do you
Yeah.
want to become do you want to create an unicorn? Do you want to create $1 billion company? Or how much do you want? Like, I never thought of that. you
Sure.
know?
Wow.
Yeah. So now maybe now I do think, okay, maybe if I ever want to build an unicorn, that is a milestone that I want to achieve. And that should be the consequence, the result of the work that I do and the value that I provide to people. And right now, the NFT and Web3 is still very, very new. A lot of billion companies out there. However, are they sustainable, right?
Right.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Time
I
will
mean, we see
answer.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what I'm trying to do here is continue to measure what people need and build a solution for that and see if they have a need, then we have a solution. If they don't, then we won't even exist.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you a little more about what's coming next for you. What are the next kind of things for your users, for your platform? And then you too, Michael. But I want to really quickly remind the folks that are here, first of all, we're so grateful for having you because you could be doing any number of other things. And if you have a specific question you'd like us to ask, I think it'd be fine as we wind things down, to get some questions. We'd love to, ask something that you want to hear. That's one of the perks of coming to the live stream. We so appreciate it. But Nikita, would you take a minute to kind of tell us what to, first of all, maybe to how do we find NFTify? It's, the website,
Yes.
and then get involved in what's coming next, what to look for.
Yes, so NFTify, NFTify, don't put in an I because there's somebody like that out there. So only NFTify dot network. And then from there, you can find all our social channels, including YouTube, Twitter, Telegram. So join us, follow us, subscribe to our email newsletter too. You'll be able to receive all the news and announcements from us. And there are a number of things that we're working on right now. And if I can tell you one thing about the future, the close future, as Lisa said, it's more of a community, and I try to build my own ecosystem. So I have a plan to create this ecosystem where every participant and every contributor in my ecosystem, including investors, partners, users, customers, however you call them, influencers, and all the contributors who take part in the ecosystem will benefit from the growth of it. So that's the plan in the future, and I hope that I can announce about that as soon as possible.
Very cool. Very cool. I can't wait. Michael, what
Yeah.
about you, brother? What are you
I'm
thinking?
excited. I'm in already. I wanna know where the Discord link is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Awesome.
love it. I'm on a little bit of a ragtag mission to try and get all of the metaverse people to talk to each other. I think that's my goal right now, because
It's a big goal, man.
I talk to a lot of them, and I'm talking about, like, I'm in every standards forum you can imagine. I'm talking to folks at, Decentraland and at Spatial, and I'm also talking to folks that are just like architects and artists that will, like, want to get into it. And a big piece of the lack of conversation there is around, like, what do people want? I think a lot of people are talking about what we can make, and that's great. That's fun. But I think I want to try to help us understand what consumers and experiences people are going to actually want to do, because that's going to paint the future what the metaverse actually becomes. The example of this is like Meta and Horizon workrooms and what's happening there. Like, nothing against what they're doing, but I don't think it's what people necessarily want the metaverse to be, and they're finding that out in a very, very expensive way. So my goal right now is to try to get creators that I know, the platforms that I'm connected with, and the partners that we have to talk together, to integrate together, and to listen to the consumers that are saying what they want and what they don't want, so that we can help make that. I want to use it. That's probably my own selfish goal at the end of it, is that, like, I can't make all of that. I wish I could, but I can't. But I'm a decent connector, and I can do a pretty good job at trying to get all these people to move together and then give them a place and give them the tools to do that, so that we can actually have the metaverse for my kids that maybe I'm dreaming about right now.
Yeah. Michael, you are a good connector. You really are good at finding people So I have no doubt that if anybody could make that happen, it's you. But what kinds of things are you needing folks to do to support you who are
Sure.
also excited about it?
Yeah. Well, big one is that I'm a collector of people. So I'm currently collecting artists, musicians, real world architects that have visions and ideas to create things in the metaverse, because we can help hone in and figure out a way that it's going to be not just a drop in the pan, but something that'll last for 5 or 10 years. And we're bringing on partners like NFTify, like Dark Block that we partnered with a while ago, that are these integral pieces of the system that connect up the metaverse to the blockchain to consumers, right? Because we need those for mainstream adoption to be invisible. We need them to be functional and just work seamlessly to where these things are just great experiences to live in. So that's our two needs really right now, is that we're bringing in great people that want to make stuff and help directing them, and that we're bringing in great partners that we can help speak with and turn the world around a little bit with. Because to be completely honest, once those things connect, consumers follow it. You know, to me, again, running a Web2 marketing agency for the last 10 years, consumers are never the hard thing to find when you have something that people want. And so I want to work really hard with people to help make sure that we're creating the things that people want, so that we can allow that magic to happen.
Nikita, did you have a thought on that?
Yes. So for me, there can be so many different opinions about anything, and life is a journey to find truth. The only way for you to find your own truth is to go down that rabbit hole and really experience it. Be involved with it to see for yourself if you really believe in it. And once you do, give it a try, right? And if you have an idea, give it a try, go for it. We're giving you a tool, giving you a platform, and hopefully it will serve its purpose. But we need you to find your own answer, whether or not it's something that you're interested in pursuing.
Very cool.
Okay.
I just mean to say, like, I'm sorry. I'm so in awe of both of you, because I realize, I enjoy building things, but I have such a fascination with so many different ideas that I can't focus on any one of them for terribly long. I can't focus on any one of them. So I really just enjoy hearing stories of people like you both. It's one of my favorite things to do. The very expansive ways you see the future, and the particular problems you're like working on, that I think have a really good shot of getting us there. And it's a future that I want to go to. So I don't know. I just am a little starstruck sometimes talking to my smart friends.
Well, you're doing what's best for you right now.
Yeah. We've always the thing I've always known about Evan, and I've only known Evan now for probably a year and a half, but it feels like probably 10 years, because he is a master communicator, master at relationships, and it's a fantastic trait to have. And honestly, it's the thing that we need, so that all this technology doesn't just completely destroy our humanity, in the dystopian futures that all of us have watched in movies. I think the goal here is to allow it to enhance and grow our human connection, and be able to grow with it, versus lose who we are now.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I often think that the best AR, VR, metaverse technologies will draw us deeper into an understanding of what it really means to be human.
Yeah,
collectively.
There's a documentary that I have not yet watched, but I'm gonna shill it anyway. Neil actually turned me on to it the other day, or this morning, and I think it's called I'm not gonna remember what it's called.
You're gonna drop it, and then you're gonna biff the name.
I'm gonna biff the name. I can't biff the name. I gotta find it. Hold on. I'm gonna
Snow
find.
Crash. No.
Oh, is that a movie?
Yeah.
Snow Crash is a movie. Yeah.
It's a book.
Is it
and
the
it's a
book?
movie.
The movie of the book? Because
Yeah.
I've read the book. I didn't know there was a movie.
Yeah, there's a movie. I met the guy. He's Neil Stephenson.
Neil Stevenson. Yeah.
Neil Stevenson.
Yeah.
Is he kind of far out?
He is in San Francisco.
Like, is he a little weird? He seems like he'd be a little weird. In a
No,
fun
he's
way.
not weird at all. He sounds very wise.
I believe that. That's what I
Yeah,
mean
yeah.
too. Like, I bet he's very wise.
Yes.
The documentary that I was talking about, it's called "We Met in Virtual Reality." It was at Sundance this year, and
I saw a preview for it.
yeah, it's completely shot in VR chat over the pandemic, and it's basically just trying to document people's lives and the connections and relationships that they make through VR chat during one of the strangest times in humanity that I've been alive for, where we really weren't outside of our homes very often, and we were seeking solace in other human beings in whatever way we could. Again, haven't watched it. I can't tell you how many stars I'm giving it, but it intrigues me enough because I believe in that possibility. You know, a lot of the strong relationships I have in Web3 and crypto came from that same era of like, I'm in my house and I gotta Zoom somebody.
Yeah, for sure, right? Yeah.
And I believe that's the thing that will, that'll create that. You talk about the gap, Nikita, from like Vietnam and the United States in terms of what people center their lives around. And I think if we are to bridge those kinds of cultural gaps that are not right or wrong, but are just very different and often cause people to become adversarial, it's going to be by drawing them closer to each other's collective, what do we share in common? And, to build those kind of experiences. What better way to do it?
Right. Close
Neil
the
has
gap to find happiness.
Close the gap and find happiness?
In finding happiness.
In finding happiness. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We do have a couple questions from the audience, and I want to be a good steward of them. And the first one seems like a mystery question. When is Michael's magnum opus asset collection? What is that, Michael?
I don't know. That is a loaded question from Neil.
Magnum opus, man.
Yeah, I would love there to be a magnum opus asset collection from Monark. That will probably come whenever Monark gives me the time to not be building and instead be creating. In time it will happen. I'm sure at some point it'll have music in it too. Why the heck not?
My connection went out. I heard your answer, but it was like robotic. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Okay.
We can
No,
hear
it was good. I think it was just me. This question is no less cryptic. I don't know what this is talking about. Can you tell us about the N1? Do you know about this? Is this a you thing, Nikita?
Yes. So N1 is our token. Of NFTify. Yeah. So we do have a plan for N1. Right now we have a couple of utilities for people to stake N1 to earn an annual return of, I think, 40% or so. Pretty handsome. So you can pretty good. And the second thing is, once you create your own NFT marketplace on us and use N1 as the payment currency, you will be waived the 2.5% platform fee.
Oh, that's cool.
So we, yes. And then we do have a long-term plan for N1 as part of the ecosystem that I mentioned for N1 as the governance token too, and it will be the medium to reward all the participants within our ecosystem in the future.
Nikita, you've been around, for a while in crypto years. I'm not calling you old. I'm just saying you're experienced, and sounds like you've done a lot of different stuff. And I'd really like your perspective on, are you concerned at all about tokenomics in your ecosystem, fungible tokenomics, about having a liquid token or a governance token in terms of we just see so many bad examples. And I think partially it's because, like you said, everything's so new. And I
Mhm.
think you probably have more experience than anyone. I'm not trying to undermine or question that. I bet you've really thought a lot about it. And I wonder, what are your concerns about a token, or what's your strategy or advice to the space?
Yes. So first of all, I don't have a lot of experience,
Okay.
and I don't know
Sure.
more than most people here.
Well,
Probably, I
that's
don't
very
know.
admirable for you to say, but I'd still like to hear what you're thinking about.
Yes, and I agree with you that part of it is because the space is still very new. Everyone is still trying to figure it out. Nobody is an expert here. That's why we haven't seen a sustainable model yet.
Sure.
And token economy or tokenomics is a very important thing. It's just like running a country, right? How
Kind of,
people
yeah.
gonna use that in your country? Do they have different ways to use that? Or, it's like the Zimbabwe dollar where you have to drive a truck of money to go buy a bread.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't work with especially other countries or other economies. Um, so I'm still learning myself too, learning how to structure that, how to organize that, so that we can design an economy that is as fair as possible and as sustainable as possible for everyone.
Good answer. What do you
I
think about stable coins? Just
Stable coin, yeah,
as
I will.
filling that gap.
Yeah, I was at Converse 22 actually, by Circle. I do think that it has some ways of use, especially in the borderless payments. And then it can close the gap in a lot of different spaces, for example, like workforce, right? To
Hmm.
allow companies to hire people internationally and pay in cryptocurrency without having to worry about the volatility uh, of currency,
Yeah.
or paying the fees or the time that traditional banks take to make the transfer. And especially a lot of people in developing countries, they don't have a bank account. So I do think that they can be of use.
yeah.
I my hot take is that I think we talk about adoption and giving people the tools to use to build things. I think stablecoins are probably the best tool we currently have in existence, decentralized like a tether. I don't mean to, shill tether, but they do a ton of volume, $60 billion of volume a day, and it's easy to do all those things.
Yeah,
And I feel like I could see a future where maybe, it starts with the US dollar and then becomes like a world coin. I don't think it would probably be Bitcoin, but I just think a stable coin will naturally evolve to be one of the things that, if this is global and we're all using it, it seems inevitable that it would end
right,
up there.
right. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, and in which cases, hopefully, I'm surely Niftify and certainly Monarch will take that currency, whatever it is.
Well, we'll have
um,
our own currency, but yeah.
yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
Do you someone in the comments said, shaking my head, not an expert. Sounds like it to me. There, I can't tell if she's picking on us or praising us, but
Yeah.
uh,
I was thinking
I don't
myself.
feel like an expert when I think about it.
I feel like Nikita has more wisdom than she either knows herself or likes to admit.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
That's fair.
stay humble, stay foolish, right? And I really do think that I'm not an expert. I'm kind of a master of none kind of person.
Yeah. Jack of all trades, master of none is better than being the master of one, is what they say. I certainly, that's how my life is too. I know
absolutely.
Michael has a couple of trades under his belt. As we kind of wind it down, we want to be respectful of your time. I don't want to keep you here past the half hour, but I'd like to know before we go if you had any other thoughts. If there's anything we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about, Nikita, or you, Michael, I want to give you guys a chance to say those things. Nikita, is there anything that was on your mind that you were thinking about that we didn't get to tonight?
um, I don't know if you have any questions, anything at all that you want to reach out to me and talk to me, feel free to. I am available on LinkedIn. I'm not active on Twitter, but I'm on LinkedIn. You can reach out to me. anytime with any kind of questions, whether or not it's Web3, NFT, or anything in life.
Yeah.
I'm an
Okay.
open book, okay?
Very cool. And you prefer LinkedIn? Do you do a lot of business on that platform?
Yes, nowadays I just feel like, because we're connecting with a lot of people, right? It's very hard
Hmm.
to remember everyone, and even
Yeah.
though I would love to. And LinkedIn provides me with the information that okay, oh, Michael, oh, you with Monark, we talk about this, and this is your background. So I have an understanding about you.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's a great reason. It's got purposeful
Yeah.
context. That's
yeah,
Yeah.
great.
yeah, yeah.
That would
So I
be
like it.
hard to find on Twitter, when I've got your
Yeah,
Bored Ape and, Chief Degen or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Michael,
Yeah.
what about you? Is there anything that you had in your heart, your mind that you wanted to share that we didn't get to or that you're thinking about?
Um, you know, I'm feeling, like I said, I feel a lot for people that are having a hard time right now. Whether it's that they lost some stuff in the market, or they're just feeling down about things in general. I
Mhm.
have a really hard time not being optimistic and hopeful because that's just my personality, and I feel like we can do that as a community. And that's kind of my goal right now, is that, like, let's just gather as many of us creative people together as we can, because now is the season to be building. I'd rather be, right, like, building and creating than worrying about the market. um,
Mm.
and when we do, we're going to build some stuff that is really cool,
Yeah.
and the more that we can have these conversations and work together, the more synergistic that's all going to become.
Right. And one more thing that I like to say, since Michael said that, makes me think of what I've been thinking about, especially these days, that we only have enough time, right? Especially in this market, but we will have enough time and things will happen to us just in time. So keep, your focus on what you want to do and just do it.
Life is long.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, most of the time it is long. Um,
Yeah.
it's good.
Every
Yeah.
day
Those
is
are good
long,
words.
you know?
Yeah. And you never, yeah, absolutely. I don't have anything to say that could be honestly, more filling than that. So I would just say, unless you have another thought or a question or anybody wants to do a magic trick, then we could end it there because that's a good place to end it.
Ooh, I
Um,
Okay.
could make my
I so
background disappear, but no, we're not going to do that magic trick.
to everybody in the chat, if you have a last minute question, go ahead and send it through. But thank you so much for being here. We will, Nikita, put this up in like a long form episode in the not too distant future. People will be listening, online there, and we'll share all of it with you. Happy to tag you or Niftify as we make clips and stuff. And if you said something and you're like, oh, don't put that in the episode, we'll cut it out. We'll make sure it never sees the light of day. Don't
Truth
laugh at
is
me. I'm
true.
serious. We want to take care of your
No,
reputation. If you said, I don't know, like
no,
I
I'm
made a silly face,
serious
I don't
too.
know.
My reputation is me here. So,
Yeah,
things
you
that I
got a good
said,
reputation.
I already said.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Nikita, are you going to any conferences? Are you traveling at all to represent Niftify anywhere in like the weeks or months ahead?
Yes. I'm going
Okay, tell me
to
that real quick.
oh, okay. I'm going to the Central in Miami. I'm still planning it. And then after that I'm going to Japan.
Oh, what's in
Yeah.
Japan?
Oh, Japan Web3 is very active these days, especially after the announcement of Kishida, Prime Minister, about the Web3
Okay.
ministry.
Hmm.
So there are a lot of activities going on in Japan right now. So I want to check that out. We're talking with a few big game publishers that want to build Web3. So we'll see
Very cool.
what's going on in Japan. And
Uh,
then after that, Germany. Um, I'm involved with a couple of startup communities in Germany right now, and these days I feel like I like the small events more than the big events
Yeah.
because there's more engagement. And I like their communities. They're very young and enthusiastic people, humble people too. So see what we can do together. And yeah, people inviting me to Colombia, which is kind of scary, but we'll see.
I hear it depends on the city in terms of how dangerous it is. I understand you completely that it's scary.
Sure.
But I have heard many
Um,
people say it's become safer than it once was.
yeah. What is that?
Is it that whatever Bogota? Um, I've heard
Yeah.
people say that I read a whole article in, I think it was National Geographic, and they were talking about how it's become this huge like hub and it's way safer. I don't know, but
Really?
you know, you have every right to feel uncomfortable about it because who knows,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
traveling that much, you must feel pretty comfortable with it, I would imagine. But like that's a pretty big schedule. What if you lost your luggage?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be at in Miami for the start of the month for like Art Basel stuff. I don't know that I'll be at Decentral, but I'll be at the Web3 Summit that's there. And there's always just a bunch of other stuff to get into. I would love if you're there and you have room on your schedule and we can make it purposeful. I would just love to spend some time with you because
Mm,
I really
that
enjoyed
sounds
this
good. Yeah.
conversation.
I'm
But I
thinking of
also don't want to take
extending.
away because I know you're busy.
Yeah. No.
So
No.
we'll talk about it.
I would love to, if we can. But I'm thinking of extending my schedule in Miami to attend the Art Basel too. They
Hmm.
have some really interesting workshops and things going on there, and I would love to dive into that art world as well. Because I'm an artist, I am a dancer.
Yeah.
Evan,
Gotta live
Evan
life.
Evan is the man to know for being around artists when you're in Miami.
Yeah.
Really? Oh
I have some
wow.
wild Miami stories. I probably went there 6 times last year and I had never been there before. And I just had, if I would go for a weekend, I'd have 2 Saturday nights and a 3 Friday afternoons worth of, dinners and just stuff. I don't know. There's always something to do when they just cram it in. It's like one
Are
conference
you
after
connected
another.
with Noah?
No,
Noah
like
Horowitz, the CEO of Art Basel?
not personally.
No.
I've seen Noah's name, but I don't. Are you? Do you know him?
No, I just learned about him today, learning about Art Basel because I've never been, but he sounds like a real deal. I don't know.
Yeah. That festival sounds like well, I don't even know what they call it, just Art Basel. It sounds like I would love to go spend as much time there as possible because
Yeah, me
the
too.
people it
Me too.
attracts, that's what I'm interested in. People like you.
I'm
If you
even
want to go,
thinking
that's where
of
I want to go.
Yeah, I'm even thinking of investing in their card premium and card thing so that I can have a tour. They can, you know, walk me through the most
Mm.
valuable pieces there too, so I won't waste time on other things.
Well, and I don't mean to make it like a business thing, but one of my favorite things about when you do things like that, when you invest in an opportunity or to spend time or money or whatever, and just go and be there and hear what
Yeah,
they have to say and
yeah,
give them your story. A lot of the time people are like, "Oh, you do that? I do this.
yeah,
We've
right.
been waiting to talk to someone like you." And then
Yeah,
usually they're a good person. And so you're
yeah,
just like,
yeah, true. Yeah.
you know,
So, yeah, that sounds perfect. Let's do that. Let's connect and do that.
okay. I'm writing it down right now to look at the platinum. I've looked at the tickets, but I'll check it out.
Evan, can I just
Where
say I love that there's constant Lucy in the background here.
Oh, my dog Lucy, you've seen her jumping. I think she was, like giving herself a bath a second ago.
That's good.
I'm on the run. I'm visiting my family right now for a month, and so
where
I've
is
been
that?
kind of in Michigan, in the United States,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
my mom and dad and grandma. Everyone lives near each other, and so I've
Nice.
kind of just been bopping around to everybody's houses. Hence my like
Oh,
quick setup. I don't have my usual lighting and but it's
that's
just such a
sweet.
great thing. I get to, for the
Yeah,
first time in my life, I get to do my work around, the
yeah.
people I love in my home. I
Oh,
can
that's
travel.
wonderful.
Yeah.
The time that one of the times in during the day that I love the most is my cooking time. Every time I cook, I remember about my mom and my dad, and then I would give them a call while cooking.
Mm. I love
Yeah.
that. I love cooking for all the sentimental reasons. I was just staying at my grandparents' house. My grandparents are still alive and they both cook wonderful food, and just,
Mm.
eating with them. My grandma makes these molasses cookies. I've probably had 20 ginger molasses cookies in the last 24 hours. That might be a
Okay.
conservative estimate,
No,
like it, but
have
it's
have as
so
many as you want.
But it's just so like, I never get to do it, and it's so tied to so many memories. Every cookie is like a story.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'll have
yeah,
diabetes,
yeah.
but it'll be,
No
my heart will be
problem. You
full.
deal with that
Sorry
later.
about
What about you, Michael? Where
Yeah.
are you?
I'm in Nashville,
Okay.
Tennessee. Yeah, and I've been here. It's funny. I've been here for 22 years now.
Mm.
Specifically, I came here for music, but both myself and the city has had like 3 different revolutions since I've been here. The city has changed so much, and I've changed a lot. And I feel like that's why I haven't moved elsewhere, because like
Mm.
things just keep churning and changing, and it's easy to travel from here. So I can make it to LA, I can make it to New York, I can pop to a different part of the world if I want to in a direct flight, and just
Okay.
kind of enjoy the connectivity. And my family's not too far away. It's
Okay.
pretty easy to get close to my family.
Well, you look great. You look like, you're very
Thanks.
content. So I guess that works for you.
Yeah, it works
Yeah.
out well. I got 2 kids that are currently being put to bed right now, so they keep me
Oh,
happy and young, and
yeah.
always on my toes.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Michael, I really look up to Michael because he has so many responsibilities and seems to have the energy to get excited about doing more and balances it all. I'm sure he would say not perfectly, but I really admire a lot of the ways he's found to. I hope to become that oriented towards progress in my life. It's inspiring to have a friend like or Michael. Where are you?
How old are you, Evan?
I'm 31.
31. Okay. You're doing great. You're doing
You
great.
think so? Thank you.
Yeah, I
I would say
do.
so.
I feel great.
Yeah.
Every day I am awake is a day I really did nothing to deserve, and mostly I am present enough to be grateful for it. But I'm on my phone all the time. I'm on my podcast.
I
There's so
know.
much
I
stuff calling
know.
for our
Oh,
attention.
yeah. I
But I
am
am
always
content.
behind, but yeah,
Yep.
thing.
Yeah.
Always behind.
Yeah.
Always catching up.
Yeah, I know. We'll get there one day. We'll get there one day. It'll be great. It'll be glorious.
Yeah. But one thing that I learned these days too, that we should feel good about where we are in this
Yes.
exact moment, no matter where we want to be tomorrow.
Mm. That's a very strong truth. I
Hmm.
appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, because we always have dreams. We always have somewhere else that we want to be, someone else that we want to become. But we are today. This is how I am today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be happy with it, right?
I would say with that, I'm gonna go hug my kid.
I think you should.
Okay.
I think you
Okay.
should. To
All right.
everybody watching here, thank you for joining us. Until next time, rise up.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Nikita, thank you so much for coming by. It was a great
I loved
conversation.
it. Thank you so
I would love
much.
to do it again, and I'll get at you, and we'll connect when we're in Miami, and
We'll make it happen.
yeah, we'll
I
talk.
don't
Thank you
have
so
your
much.
contact information, so maybe
I,
Michael can connect
Yep.
us.
I'll tie
Yeah.
in. I've got Evan in on a Telegram combo that some of us are in on, so
Okay.
we'll
Sounds
add
great.
all the right people.
yeah,
Okay. Sounds
cool.
great. Thank you
Thank
so
you both
much.
so
Thank
much.
you, Michael
Thank
and
you.
Evan. Have a good night.
You
You
too.
too.